Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at 10 perfect brawlers within Brawl Stars right now. So by that I mean I don't really see them getting any type of nerf in the near future. They're pretty much like an A tier brawler or near the top, and if some brawlers above them get nerfs, they might make their way into the S tier pretty easily. So we're in this kind of weird period of time in Brawl Stars right now where, you know, there's Brawl Talk probably coming soon, an update, there's not been any balance changes for a while, and everyone's kind of wondering what to actually upgrade because they don't want their, you know, the brawler to, you know, like a Sandy, for example. You don't want to max that out in case it gets nerfed in a couple of days' time or so. So, giving you 10 brawlers that you should definitely max out right now. So, we're going to be starting off with RT, and I think he's like the perfect brawler right now. The reason being is because he's so incredibly underrated. I don't see him getting any sort of nerf anytime soon, and he actually is such a dangerous pick. Whether you play ranked, whether you play ladder, he's a really good brawler when it comes down to like showdown and duels to counter brawlers like Kit, because Kit is literally everywhere right now, and he's just good to counter any type of tank. Even though he's a sniper, if you use the out of line gadget, which recently got reworked, you can easily just go into Jackie form, and if you catch him right at the literally the perfect timing, you can double tap really quickly and you just literally deal like 10k damage just two tapping tanks, and then you can just go back into your other form even if you mess things up. He's just super versatile, and of course you can still use him on longer range maps to counter snipers, and I see a lot of usage with him inside of Hot Zone because of the recording star power. You get an extra 20% shield, and then if you ever get into danger after you've just soaked up a lot of damage, again you can just go back into your legs with a click of a button. So he's super versatile, really strong. He's actually near enough S tier brawler, and he won't receive a nerf. Moving on to the next brawler you must absolutely max out because I don't really see them getting a nerf anytime soon. It is Amber. So even though I would actually want a nerf for Amber because she's so incredibly versatile and so good in the right hands, I don't really see her being nerf because she's not actually as toxic as you would think. I'm not really seeing many people complain about Amber. You know, they're complaining more about the hype charge brawlers Melody, Angelo, whilst Amber is always this sneaky pick, but she does a lot of consistent damage. Her gadget Dancing Flames does a lot of damage and definitely needs a nerf, but I don't actually see it getting a nerf. And again, you've probably seen me talk about Amber for months on months now, and she's just so incredibly consistent, so you can always kind of rely on Amber. And even if she does receive a nerf, I still see her being like minimum B tier. Moving on to the next brawler you must absolutely max out and should never really fear of this brawler getting nerfed anytime soon. It is Rosa. So Rosa's been enabled by the meta, enabled by the map pool, and enabled by so many different things, but she's just secretly been rising back up in the meta ever since she received a buff not too long ago, and she's just skyrocketed because she's just such a sneaky pick. When you think of any kind of combinations with Max Sandy, she's really strong. Any combinations with Grey and Hot Zone, she's really strong. You think of the map pool like double swoosh and other maps, she's really strong. She's even good against her counters because her super is just so good, and it enables her to just cycle through to a hype charge so quickly. I've literally gone Rosa on so many dumb matchups. Again, I run through brawlers like Charlie now and Shelly, and there's just so many other matchups you wouldn't think she would win, and she does. Again, I don't think she'll receive any type of nerf, but she's easily in and around the A tier, near the top of the meta. So jumping into the next brawler, must max out because they'll never really receive a nerf anytime soon. It has to be Belle. So I know her play rates in competitive are kind of fell through the roof a little bit, mainly because there's brawlers like Byron that are kind of gone ahead of her. But if I was to predict, you're probably gonna guess that Byron might receive some type of nerf, so that's just gonna make Belle better. You might be wondering, why is that the matter? Because Byron's a healer and Belle's a damage dealer. I don't know, they just kind of fit the same type of roles a lot of the time in terms of like the map pool and whatever else. But Belle's just a super consistent brawler anyways. She's got a pretty decent hyper charge. I know brawlers like Angela and Piper are probably going to get a hyper charge pretty soon, but you can never really go wrong with Belle. She's just really good across the board. In the right hands, she can always be pretty solid. Again, like heist, gem grab, brubble on open maps. She's just pretty consistent. So next up on the must max out list, we have Lawrie and Lawrie. So I feel like you should probably have these maxed out by now, especially if you've used them whilst they're completely broken. But if you don't, I'll definitely still advise to max them out, even though they've received so many nerfs. They're still easily an 8 tier brawler. So the reason why I love the twins is mainly because they're actually just good against everything. Literally, as a thrower, normally you have key weaknesses, for example, like assassins or just any type of aggro. But Lawrie and Lawrie, they're pretty good against everything. So even assassins, you just gotta basically wait. It takes a little while to build up your super, but once you get it, you can easily start chaining with the gadget as well, keeping yourself alive, and the twin is just pretty good. And then he's pretty decent against other throwers, for example like a knockout and bounty. He can hold his own because just his main attack mechanic just keeps them zoned out and just keeps them pushed back. It's really hard to push into Lawrie and Lawrie if you've noticed. And then the thing about I love about him as well is that you can just pretty much play on anytime throughout the draft. So if you want to play him early, if you want to play him last to counter some type of snipers or something, you can always go Lawrie and Lawrie because they're just good at everything. So jumping into the next brawler must absolutely max out before the update, it is Serge. So Serge has always been pretty strong, I would say, in this meta, but I think more now than ever, I'm just playing so much Serge. I don't know if it's because I'm having to carry my bad randoms, but it's just mainly because he's actually a super consistent brawler. He really shuts down those tanks. He's got a really good gadget, and again, I just don't really see too many people complaining about Serge. People are underestimating him still. I know that your randoms probably are going him a bit too much at the lower elo because I'd rather just have too much fun with Serge, but I think at the highest level he is very, very underrated. You think about it with the shield gear, he has over 7k HP, does a ton of damage. There's just so many good things about him, and there's just no way that he'll receive a nerf. Jumping into the next brawler must max out before the update, we have Buzz. So I've been underrating Buzz for a while now, especially his hypercharge, but the thing I love most about him is kind of like replaced Fang in that sense, in terms of really dumb hypercharge assassins. So the thing about Fang that you could do, you could just keep going in time and time again, and then you eventually get your hypercharge into team wipe, but it takes too long for that. Whilst Buzz, you can do that after a couple of deaths. You pretty much have your hypercharge, and then straight away from spawn you can just Spider-Man up the map, you can get a double kill, just change the game. And that's what I really like about some hypercharge brawlers, especially assassins, is that you can actually chain kills, get 2 kills, 3 kills in a row, and that will literally win you games. And that's what made hypercharges broken in the past, and I think this Buzz hypercharge it's not broken, but it's kind of borderline. It's actually really, really strong, especially because he automatically charges it as well with Super Circle. He's just so good. And I've been playing a lot of Buzz in ranked, and I'm a terrible Buzz, but I've pretty much won every single game, even against some hard counters like Serge and Shelly, for example. So I didn't really see him getting a nerf either, so I would say it's pretty safe to max him out. Moving on to the next brawler, must absolutely max out before the update. Again, I've gone for Jean. So I've kind of gone for these brawlers where I'm not seeing too many people complain about, because I would say the casuals find these type of brawlers pretty hard to play, and Jean is definitely one of those brawlers. So in the right hands, he will absolutely carry. He deals so much damage. He has a hypercharge as well, which takes a long while to get, but it's just the additional movement speed, the additional damage, right? It's actually really good. The hypercharge itself is terrible, but because you get that additional stat boost, you just melt through people as Jean. You know, Jean's a support brawler. He's not supposed to be this like assassin, but when you put Spirit Slap on and the hypercharge, you literally just melt through everything that you see. You can literally kill tanks with 3 shots, which is just absolutely insane. And again, I don't really see him getting a nerf. If he is to get a nerf, it'll probably be something small, and he'll still probably be still good in like knockout and bounty. But I'm seeing Jean in like Brawl Ball, Gem Grab. Again, super consistent S-tier brawler, and he's not toxic, hard to use, so I don't really foresee him getting a nerf, or a real big nerf if there is one. Jumping into the next brawler, must absolutely max out before the update, it is Byron. So again, there's a couple of brawlers that I mentioned a lot of the time, like Amber, Jean, Byron. I'd think like Byron's probably the most likely one to get nerfed out of all of these, mainly because I just feel like he can do everything, especially there's so many toxic combos actually coming out the grass styles. Last week, I've just been playing so much Byron Draco kit. It probably is mine and OJ's fault for just abusing that so much on the ranked stream, but he is just so toxic. He's so good, even as a 1v1 brawler, as a healer, and I don't know, like the problem is that people don't actually think of a support brawler like Byron to be too toxic. They always focus on these like aggro brawlers like Sandy and Melody, whilst Byron, he's just sneakily OP, and he's just as good as these brawlers. So I'd recommend maxing him out. I'd say there's like a 50-50 chance of him getting nerfed, but I'll just go ahead anyways, because I still feel like he'll be meta even with a nerf. Finally, jumping into the final brawler that you should definitely consider maxing out before the update, it is Jessie. So we haven't really spoke about Jessie too much this meta, but she's still a consistent brawler. The main reason why she's not like an S tier is because of the map pool. I think if a few maps came back in the rank rotation, etc., then she would be straight up to the S tier again. So it's just literally because of the hypercharge super. The hypercharge, you can just run into people's faces, just smash your auto aim button, and you're literally just 2-3 shots so many brawlers in the game. The hypercharge turret has 10k HP, and you can cycle through it like 2-3 times a game, which is insane. The slow gadget is really good. And again, Jessie, I know it's probably toxic at the lower levels, but I still don't think those lower casual players are getting that wrecked by Jessie, because you still need a hypercharge to actually play it effectively. So I don't really see her getting a nerf. She's always going to be in and around the A tier, maybe B tier minimum, so it's pretty safe to max her out. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Let me know down in the comment section below whether I missed out on any brawlers. Again, there are probably some brawlers that might not, I don't know the balance changes, so that's just one thing to consider. But if you're in this kind of period where you have a lot of power points and you just want to max some brawlers out, I'd say you're pretty safe with a lot of these. So that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.